Welcome back everybody to the Hillside Farm. Today let's talk about one of my favorite subjects, and that is cover crops. Okay, now cover crops can be basically anything, whether you plant clover, vetch, buckwheat, anything you can probably think of. There are tons: winter wheat, barley, oats, Austrian peas. It can go on and on and on. It can be a bit overwhelming if you've never grown gardens or even got into cover cropping at all. So if you've been following along, this field that I'm in right now was just nothing but an old hay field. Okay, and this little section here, you can kind of tell, are where my blueberry bushes are planted. They're doing fine now. I think they were struggling early on because the pH was off a little bit, but I've since fixed that and put a nice mulch of pine needles along with some soil acidifying fertilizer. So they have taken back off and they're doing quite well. I thought they were not looking great this spring, but they come back around. But if you're like me, you don't have a lot of time to always just spend out hoeing weeds and pulling weeds and trying to fight. Like I said, this was an old hay field. You can kind of see the adjoining field is still there that they still take hay off of. But inside this little protected fenced area is my little start of the blueberry patch, which I plan on probably doubling for next year, so please stay tuned for that. But anyways, every time I come back here, because I can't be here all the time, as it's kind of far from my actual hillside garden in the city where I do live. This is on my mom's property. Anyways, long story short, every time I come back, I feel like I'm always having to pull weeds through the rows. Okay, and it's getting pretty old. So what I thought of, what I'm going to do now, and if you've ever done this before, please tell me if you had good results or not. I'm going to put some cover crops down between the rows of these berry bushes and let these kind of naturally suppress some of the weeds. So what I've done is I've mixed in some crimson clover, okay, which you plant about this time of year. It's going to be a very nitrogen fixing crop. It's going to smother the ground, grow really tightly together, which hopefully will help suppress some of these perennial crabgrasses and these weeds I have to keep pulling, it seems like every time I'm up here. Anyhow, but I've also want to talk about something that maybe makes it a little less complicated about when you're first getting into cover crops, what you could and couldn't do. Okay, so at my local hardware store, feed store, whatever, I got that crimson clover, which I sell in bulk or prepackaged little bags there. And I spread that out, but I was also at the grocery store the other day, and check it out, some peas. So I got some lima beans, and these are some red lentils I've had for a long time that I never used. So they will grow. It is August, so they're going to sprout. They're going to do just fine. And the best part is they're going to put down tons of mass, tons of biomass. They're going to fix nitrogen, and they're going to die. Okay, the winter, the frost is going to kill them. And I'm not going to get, I might mow it down, and maybe not. I might just let it lay on top of the soil. And that's going to help, it's going to keep the roots in the ground. So that's going to help break up some of this clay soil. Add nitrogen, because the soil, like I said, the old hay field has not been like overly fertilized like, back home, at my gardens and everything, where it's had years and years of compost and things like that, manures and things added to it. So I'm kind of starting from scratch, literally. And when you're starting from scratch with new ground, you need to incorporate biomass. Okay, so long story short, if you don't know what that means, biomass, that's just leaves and stems and roots and all kinds of stuff that the plants leave behind that slowly decomposes and will add fertility to your fertility to your soil there, making your land fertile. Okay, now some people might confuse fertility, at least my opinion, with fertilizer. And there's nothing wrong with using fertilizer as a supplement if you need to. I have used this product right here. I'm not endorsing it, I'm not sponsored, but this product here, I won't say it, but I used that before in the spring getting started off because, like I said, this soil is just straight red clay, low fertility. I got a free university soil test, and it was pretty much lacking in everything. So anything that was good, I think it might have had a little bit of potassium above average. Other than that, it was pretty much below average on everything. So anyhow, you can get back on topic here. I'm going to take these beans. You can already tell on top of the soil here, I've already added some of these, one bag of black-eyed peas. You can kind of see in those little blue dots, those are coming through. Right there, that is the crimson clover pelletized seed. And I just scattered it on top. And I'll come back here in a little bit because it just did rain. So I'm trying to get the nice ground while it's moist to kind of get these seeds in the ground. I'm just going to take a garden rake and kind of lightly rake them in a little bit. I'm not planting them. You can, if you have a tractor or kind of like a planting instrument, if you want to get all technical about it, go for it. My goal here is to get as maximum ground cover as possible. So I'm just spreading them out thin, let them grow. The black-eyed peas are going to vine around. The lima beans are going to vine around. So if you do that, you might need to check your rows here in case it starts getting out of control, and just kind of guide them back into the walking paths or in between the rows here and away from your crops that you're trying to keep. that you're trying to, you know, boost the fertility for, and that would be these blueberries here. I don't want the lima beans wrapping around them and strangling them out or something like that. So hopefully they do grow enough that that becomes a problem, because that means they're putting tons and tons of biomass on the ground. So that being said, I'm going to get back to doing this. Tell me some of your cover cropping stories, or maybe some things you might have used in the past. There's tons of things you can get really complicated with this, guys. All right, that's what I want to try to scare you. Don't want to try to scare you away. But cover crops is it's a great subject. There's tons and tons of resources. I would stay with university resources and, you know, certified kind of things. When you're trying to find actual information, there's tons of bad information out there, and people that mean well, but maybe it's not suited for your climate, and I don't want you to see you fail and then get you discouraged, okay? So hopefully this is the last time I had to weed this place for a while, because like I said, it's getting old, weeding the same places over and over again. But hopefully this cover crop does take over. I will show you guys an update whenever these plants are doing their thing, getting bigger. But thanks for following along here at the Hillside Farm Project. Until next time, guys. Get out there and do something good, all right? Do something good for your neighbors, your community, your garden, your backyard. Do something, and I'll leave it at that. Until next time, guys. Bye-bye.